Good.
Okay, cool. I am so excited to get to talk to you. All I've seen is just
Yes.
some of Bubba's stuff, and then when we jump on the group chat or group Zoom calls every now and then. So
Right.
nice to officially, unofficially meet you.
Yes, absolutely. I actually can't wait till we can meet in person sometime because I've been following you now for a while, and all of your stuff just looks so exciting and so much fun up there.
Oh, we are having a blast.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. I'm so glad to be part of the org now and have all these connections, and I'm hoping to use that even more next year to do some traveling and some other gigs.
Absolutely. Right. Now, is there a big music scene up there? You're in South Dakota, right?
Right. So we're on the west side of South Dakota.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm almost to Wyoming actually over here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it depends. The music scene in the summer is pretty good, but then
Okay.
once it's like November to March, it really sucks actually.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
bet. Well, you guys get a lot more snow up that way too, so.
Yeah, and there's just not a lot of bars and venues that do live music throughout the year. They're very much like um seasonal and very like event. If it's not an event, they're not just gonna hire a band for 2 nights on the weekend out of nowhere.
Gotcha.
It's got to be
Right, right.
something for them that's going on. So that makes it difficult for sure. So
Absolutely.
I found myself doing a lot more out of state gigs, which is a lot
Okay.
of fun actually, because we've seen a lot of things that we've never would have seen, if we hadn't have gone. So that's become really cool. And I guess ultimately that's the goal, right? Is to branch out and get your name
Yeah,
heard outside of your little community. So
absolutely.
it's
Well,
kind
and
of a
then
good
look at
thing.
you go. Yeah, look at you go with all your nominations this year.
Oh
How
man.
exciting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. Like I was really hoping for the album one just because I worked so hard on it and like put my heart into it this time. Not that I didn't do it the first
Absolutely.
time, but I just felt like I
Right,
was
right.
much more invested this time. And then yeah, they were going through the categories and my parents were standing there watching with me. And my dad's like, "Oh, here's the entertainer of the year." And I was like, "Yeah, right." Like, yeah, we could probably just shut it off now,
Right.
I was like, oh my God, my name was
It's
on the chart.
me.
So yeah, that was a complete shock, but
Yeah, that is fantastic. My
excited.
goodness.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
When did you
Well, I know
become
that.
part of the org?
Yeah, actually a year ago. It was just
Okay.
I think it was January of 2024.
Okay.
So I'm definitely super super new into it and just trying to get my feet wet and see where things go. And Bubba has been such a big help with me to kind of get things figured out. I was introduced to Lee Klett was the very first MCO member that I was able to meet over at another gig actually. So it was
Oh,
really neat. And
cool.
he's like, "Yeah, let's get connected or whatever." And he actually was he the ambassador for the
Yep.
Midwest CMO
Yep.
like 2 years ago now
Yep.
or a year ago? And
Yep.
he's like, "Hey, I can probably get you a gig at this place." So he actually got me my first ticketed show. So talk
Ah,
about a good ambassador for the organization.
yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And it was very exciting. And now that's something that in the future I want to be able to give back as much as people have already given to me. Like it's a beautiful community to be a part of. Everyone is more like a family than anything. There's not competition, at least around the people that I've been with. So it's
Right.
exciting to see where the organization is going to go because it's not very old, right? It's not too
No, I
old.
don't think so. I actually truly don't know what year it started, but yeah, this will only be my second full year as a
Okay.
member.
Okay.
So I'm not very much ahead of you in that aspect.
Right.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just exciting to see where it's going to go and hopefully someday I can be like in Lee's position as far as being able to be knowledgeable enough to give that information to other people and say,
yeah,
"Hey, I've got ideas for you and here's this." So it's a really neat thing to be a part of.
yeah, I think like that's probably what you can get the most out of from the org is just all these connections and relationships that you're gonna build. Like
Right, right.
you may not, become number one on a radio station, but now suddenly your reach for gigs has expanded over, 5 states rather than your little spot. And where are you
Right.
at right now?
So I'm in central Iowa, in
Okay.
a little teeny tiny town smashed in between Des Moines and Waterloo would be the easiest way to put it
Okay.
on a map. So
So, do you have very many other CMO artists that are near you?
None that I am aware of. I mean, there's none like in the direct community with me.
Hmm.
We've such a small town, but like in the Waterloo area and then all surrounding there is the Ottumwa area down south, and but I just haven't really been hooked up with too many yet. I went to my first writers round 2 weeks ago now and made some great and amazing connections. So hopefully I can
Cool.
continue to go to those things because that was what an experience that was. My goodness,
Yeah.
that I had never been a part of that before, and it was like I walked out of there not only feeling like a little celebrity because everybody was excited to see me, and I'm the one
Uh-huh.
that's like, I'm excited to see you guys. I'm like, this is amazing. But I came out of there with a wealth of knowledge, brand new connections, some new friends. It was just the neatest thing. I can't believe that there is such a good community out there within the music industry.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never done a writer's round, so you're way ahead of me on
Oh,
that one.
you should, I highly recommend it. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some out there that are doozies, but this one was absolutely incredible.
That's
It was high praise on all ends. It was just like good for you, and it just was well
aw,
received, and it
that's
was a
so
really neat
cool.
experience. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, so do you mostly just do acoustic stuff or do you have a band?
So I have a band, a
Okay.
three-piece band, right now, and actually, we have had some band members that are now pursuing other options in the industry, and so I'm actually looking for a lead guitarist right now.
Okay.
But I do have I have a whole roster of backup people that are filling in right now, and so it's really exciting to be able to play with a whole bunch of different artists and kind of see where things go from there. And it's neat to have like a guest guitarist come in and play for a
Yeah.
weekend. So it's really, really neat. But I do that full band stuff with Hideaway Honey.
Oh
And then
yeah.
I do
Perfect.
solo shows with myself. And then during the week, my full-time job is I lend my voice to the senior living communities, and I go and I share my voice and my heart with the elderly.
Aw.
And it just brings me so much joy to
Oh my gosh. That
be able
is
to have
so
something to,
awesome.
yeah, something to share is something that means a lot to me. So that pays for the weekend stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. That's
Yep.
way awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that yeah, you almost have to have a full-time weekday job, I guess, to support your music career until you become a
Right.
certain level. So that is a really cool support crew.
Yeah, I kind of just fell into it, and it took off. And now I think I'm up to 22 different facilities that I go to at least once a year. About half of them I go every month, and some are every other month. So it just depends on what the facility needs. But if I could go to a facility every single day, I probably would because there's nothing funner than going in and seeing their faces light up and say, Birdie, we missed you. And I'm like, I missed
Oh,
you guys too. And just sharing, being able to share something and be connected through one thing. Music is such a universal language, and it's beautiful to be
right.
able to speak it with all kinds of people.
Right. That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
so awesome. And what was the fundraising thing you just did?
Oh, yes,
Or just
actually,
posted at least?
so it was supposed to be just a St. Patrick's Day party at a bar,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, the community that was being held in lost a community member that week, and
Hmm.
so they turned it into a nice big fundraiser, and it was already going to be probably a pretty packed house, but everybody showed up in the community, and I said, you know what? I'm going to donate all of my tips back into this to the family because that would make me feel I wouldn't feel right if I did a show like that was a benefit for someone.
Right.
But I was able to raise $217, and I cried on the way home because
Aw,
it meant so much that I was able to give back other than just my voice.
that's so cool. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I
And I'm
don't,
hoping in the future to be able to do more things, more opportunities like that where I can showcase the full band and able to donate and help charities and events and things. That's going to be in the future something that I really, really want to do.
yeah. I think that's a great way to get yourself out there too. Because people are always willing to have you be part of those kind of events. And then I think it gives like the crowd an opportunity to really get to know you as a person,
Right.
because they can connect with you better if they understand your personality or, your
Yep.
roots or where you came from or whatever the case is. So that's a big thing for me is just connecting with people and taking the extra 10 minutes if they come up to the stage and want to talk or whatever, it's important. It really is.
Absolutely. And that you bring up something. I remember when I was younger, I was at an event, and this band, they weren't the biggest yet in the state of Iowa, but they were well known.
Hmm.
They're really well known now. But I went up to the lead singer after they had opened for the main act, and I'm like, "Can I have your autograph?" And he was not very kind about it, and it just made me think back. I will never not stop and talk to somebody, or will never not stop and give an autograph and make that connection with someone. They're there to see
Aw.
you. I want to give that back.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Yeah, that's like those memories are what it's about, right?
Right, right. And I'm like, I'm never going to be like that. Well, hopefully, I'm not going to be like that. I understand if you're having a bad day, but if
Right.
somebody is excited to come and see you, give them that 5 seconds just to acknowledge that they made the effort to come see you. And that's something that I will, if a fan ever says, "Hey," I'm going to be right there and say, "What do you need?"
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. If you, I don't know if you saw me like put my
I
hand up,
did.
whatever, but
Yeah.
my my dad just walked in and he was going to talk to me and I was like, nope, I'm busy.
Nope, not yet. That's okay because if you've heard any like tapping, it's because my cat is trying to get on my lap. So she's my
I just
manager
like
and she's trying to inspect things and make sure I'm talking the right way.
that's hilarious. Yeah, we all live on the ranch here and
Oh yeah.
um so my parents live in one house, I live in another, and then my sister lives in the original farmhouse. And we're not very far apart from each other. And so, you just walk in and do your
Randomly
thing. And I was
walking.
like, just a second. Like,
Hold
I'm
on,
talking to
Dad.
Birdie. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, that's well, hi, Dad.
Yeah, right? Uh,
Oh, shoot.
yeah, I knew that was going to happen too. And I almost said, I'm going to do a Zoom call, so I won't be available for a little while, but oh
You
well.
need that little sign that says on air so when
I
they
know,
walk in the
right?
door, it's it'd be like shh.
Yeah,
Oh,
nothing like an
goodness.
authentic Zoom call here.
Exactly.
See, I'm not
Oh my goodness.
professional either. I don't know why you were worried about it.
Uh, I'm just worried about what comes out of my mouth. That's the problem. That's what I'm worried about. Please tell me more about this bar that you play in that has the
Okay.
bull riding because I'm obsessed. Like I have to get
Yes.
out there.
So you watched the video, obviously.
Yes. And your music video and the song. Oh my God. We'll get to
Oh,
that in a minute.
oh, well, thank you. Yeah, so that has become a traditional event for, I don't know, probably like the last 15 years or something.
Okay.
So the Knuckle Saloon is like world famous Knuckle Saloon that's in Sturgis.
Yeah.
And there's a bar on like a full regular bar restaurant on one side, and then there's like this pavilion space, which is what you saw in the
Okay.
video, and then there's another like brewery side on the other side. So in this pavilion space, they have started hosting these bull ridings, and most people, even that live here, are like, "Oh, I thought it was a mechanical bull." I'm like, "No, it's real. It's like real
Bulls.
riding." And the space is pretty small. I mean, it's not any, I don't even know, not any bigger than like the seating area at the awards show. Like it's,
Okay.
for if you're thinking like an area to do rodeo stuff in, like that's not a big space by any means.
Right.
So
Kind of
it's
like Billy Bob's in Texas, like
yeah,
that little
yeah.
smaller arena.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty dangerous. And a lot of like it's not a PRCA event and I would
Okay.
think like a lot of the professional cowboys are probably not going to do it because it is so small and dangerous. But it draws such a crowd and there's nothing like it over here. Um
Yeah.
there's like one other place I think maybe in Oklahoma that does it that someone talked about, but anyways, so yeah, they do the whole thing. It's just bull riding, there's nothing else and they go through, they do a Calcutta and they do the whole works, they do the short go, whatever. And then it used to be just a one weekend event, so it was like a Friday and Saturday night. And now they do once a month and they've turned it into a series. And so like from now until December, they'll go once a month, and then at the end, they do like a finals and then they give away huge money. So depending on like the
Wow.
point system. But anyways, they literally like park um the rodeo trailers like in the alley and unload the bulls back there in town. And then uh they put like makeshift chutes in the pavilion part and yeah, it's cool. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that is
definitely like the most unique event you could probably see over here on the off season that's not rally related.
yeah, that is something else. And then yeah, you've got the big motorcycle week up there.
Yeah.
Have you ever played at that?
Oh yeah. Yep. We play
Yeah,
that every year just because it's local
local.
and for the most part the venues here try to hire locally. Um, because we're the ones that are living here and working hard at it and
Right.
whatever. So
Right.
um so that works out well. So I've played at the Knuckle and then I've played at the Loud American Roadhouse, which is another like staple venue of Sturgis. Um, I've not gotten to do like any big shows, like big opening acts or anything, but
Okay.
because like the Buffalo Chip is like the big one that brings in, Jason Aldean and Kid Rock and Jelly Roll and whatever.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I have not gotten to play out there yet, but there's lots of opportunity for live music for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'm just learning about the music scene here in Iowa, and I've come into this. This is I would say it's my second career in music. I'm sorry, my cat is rolling on the table down here and is shaking. Can you move,
I just
ma'am?
love that this is such an authentic conversation.
Yeah. Yep, this is about as real as it gets. It was either going to be a cat that I was going to have an issue with or a horse because I just came in from the horses. So,
Oh,
and she's now attacking my feet. So I'm going to hold my table here and try to get through the rest of this interview while she attacks me and the wires that are down by my feet. Okay. Excuse me, ma'am. Anyway, where was I at? Oh, the scene in Iowa. Yeah,
oh yeah.
I'm completely new. This is like my second career with music. I
Mhm.
went to Nashville at 19 and was turned away because of what I looked like. I didn't fit that mold, you know. I could say
Mhm.
I broke it, let me tell you what. And now I let it go, and now I'm back. COVID got me writing again, got me writing poetry, turned them into songs. And I'm like, you know what? I can do this. It's a new world out there now. People
It is.
are you know, they're not caring as much about what you look like and that you don't fit this mold and this image. And I feel like that I can be someone that can say, hey, who cares if they think you need to fit a mold? You don't need to. And I want to be
Right.
able to be that inspiration for other people to say, you know, oh, there's something that I want to do and somebody says I can't, well, you can.
Right.
And my new motto right now is I can and I will,
Yeah.
because I'm not going to let anything else stop me. It stopped me the first time. I'm not going to let it stop me the second time. So look out, Nashville, because I'm coming.
Good for
I'm breaking that
you.
mold again.
Good for you. I'm so proud
Yeah.
of you for that.
Yeah. Thank you. I
It's
appreciate it.
tough. It's
It is.
hard. It doesn't matter who you are or how far you've come. There's always things that are just, happen that end up being feeling like this giant roadblock or a giant punch in the gut or whatever it is, and you're like, man,
Yes.
am I, just did I do the wrong thing, make the wrong choice, whatever? And ultimately, all that's been decided for us already anyway.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've been feeling like that lately myself. Just like, man, every time I turn around, there's something, that's just like, seriously, this too, and
Right. It's like
it's
once you get to that point where things are
yeah,
feeling good and seem like things are just working out great, then the rug gets pulled out from under you. And
yep,
that happened to me recently. And it's like, now I got to shove that rug back under my feet again and move on to the next one because
yep,
and it's so hard trying to figure out that balance when you are, I mean, you're essentially a business owner when you're working with your band and stuff. And so I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a one woman pony show, and it is
yep,
hard, very, very hard.
yep,
And me being extra super sensitive, and I'm certain that it happens with all artists, but you know, when you are an artist of any kind, you're putting yourself out there and being extremely vulnerable. And sometimes when your audience and your crowd doesn't respond to you in a way that you feel should be appropriate, it
hmm
really, really eats at you. And that is something that I'm learning to overcome. And I'm thankful that I'm learning it in the beginning of my career, because there have been times where I came home recently within the past month where I'm like, I don't want to do this ever again. I'm
right,
tired of people harassing me, bullying me, catcalling me in the wrong way while I'm on stage and booing me. And it's like, I don't deserve this. I'm sharing a part of myself with you.
right,
And so, but I'm learning to rewire myself. And as long as I'm on that stage for myself, and as long as I walk out of there knowing that I gave my best performance, I gave with everything that I had, it
yep,
doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And it's taking a lot of energy to keep that mentality. But I know that that's the mentality that I have to continue on in this field.
it
So,
is, it is, yeah, because I mean, everybody's always like, oh, there's always going to be, something or someone or whatever. And yeah, it's really hard to get yourself out of that mentality, but
Yeah,
it's true. I mean, for, every five or six things that knock you down, like there's something in the background that you don't even know is happening or don't even know is coming, or, somebody watching that, their only inspiration is because of some little thing you did that you didn't even
you
notice,
did.
So
Yep.
yeah, you got to
And that's
stick
the other
with it.
thing. You really gotta put that showbiz on. I mean, when you
Hmm.
walk in that door, you've got to be on until you leave. You can cry on the way home,
Yep.
but you've got to make it through that gig and give your best for those 4 hours or whatever it is. And that's something really hard for me to wrap my mind around. But it's getting easier the more that I do this. But yeah, I'm glad that I found out recently I'm not the only one that struggles with that. Every artist
No,
struggles with that. I had
not
no idea. I'm
even
like,
close.
is this ever gonna end? Like, why did I pick I don't even like people now. Like,
I
why did
know.
I pick a career that's with people?
I know. Yeah, I don't think it does end, but you
Yeah.
have to give yourself that mind space of,
Yeah.
like it's hard to just say, well, who cares? Because I care, and I'm the
Yeah.
same as you.
There
Like
is someone.
I
There is
take
someone out there
everything
that
to
cares.
heart. I'm super,
Yeah.
super sensitive, super because I'm a
Yeah.
people pleaser. I don't want, any negative stuff. I it eats me alive to know that
Yes.
somebody's upset with something or whatever the case
Yeah.
is. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. And so I don't think anybody that's out there or even anybody that watches this of the CMOs, should ever feel like they are the
Right.
only ones that ever experience that because you could appear to have like the most perfect career ever and there's no way
Right.
that it's that perfect where you wouldn't have to deal with that stuff. So,
Right. And then that's the other thing is with the new social media stuff is you've got to really watch what you post on Facebook because like you said, there's that one person that's watching you like a hawk, looking up to you. And if you say something wrong or something maybe out of an impulse that you didn't mean, that could
right,
be taken in a different way. And then you have to kind of backtrack and be like, well, I didn't mean it that way and it came across this way. And so
right.
yeah, there's just this fine balance of trying to figure out how to be professional and yet maintain authenticity within your craft.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the authenticity part is the most important, really, because
Yeah.
now there's all this like AI generated whatever, and people they're craving that real connection and real
Yes.
work now. Like
Hmm.
the perfectly generated stuff is great, but there's no feeling to it. Like there's,
Right.
if you look at like artists that are just exploding on TikTok, it's because they've become vulnerable and let you into their daily life and let you into
Right.
their behind the scenes stuff. And so like I'm not good at that at all, but
Right.
that's like that just proves the point that like people want to feel like they have a real connection with
Yeah.
you.
Not with just the music, and that's also something that I struggle with now because then it's like, well, how much is too much to share, or how, because like for me, I've got myself dipped in everything between the
Right.
horses and any of the artistic stuff that I do. I mean, I could have a blog, a vlog, I could do go off and expand and do all this stuff, but right now I'm really focused on just that music portion, and
Okay.
really trying to make a name for myself with that. Because the ultimate goal, I think for me, it's never to be famous or to be, somebody that somebody idolizes, because Lord knows I don't want anybody to look up to me like that. But it's to be able to have that financial freedom that I can take care of my family and set up a future for my friends.
Right.
You were talking about how your family all live on the same, on the same farm. I would love to have a farm that I could have my friends be like that, and we just
Mhm.
line up a row of houses and make a little general store and post office and have our own little community.
That'd be so
Um,
cool.
yeah, but I don't have any desire to be like crazy famous.
Right.
Recognized, sure, that's great, but I just want to be able to be comfortable and be able to spoil my friends, take care of my family, and share the music that I love.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what it would like totally suck to be like Taylor Swift status, wouldn't it? That'd be
Yeah, no,
awful.
I would never want that. I mean, she can't go anywhere. She can't do
Hmm.
anything. She's under the microscope every second of her life. She
Yeah.
can't even watch her boyfriend on TV or, watch him on the game
Right.
without the TV camera right in her face.
Yeah, that'd
So,
be, yeah, I have no desire for that amount of fame
yeah,
either. Like I want to share my stuff and have
yeah,
people appreciate what I did. And
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't need to have my life under a microscope all the time and constantly. You
Right.
think we're judged now. Wait till you get
Right.
to
Wait till
that.
you get to that
Yeah,
status.
there
That
you could have the most perfect body and perfect life ever and they still pull it apart.
pick it apart.
So at
Yeah.
least we're not that, right?
Right. Yeah. I'll just stay where I'm at then. I mean, I'd like a little more money coming in right now, but I don't need that crazy fame or anything. I just want to share music and make people feel good, have that connection with someone. So
Yes, yes. So where did the Hideaway Honey idea come from?
yes. So actually, there's quite a few reasons why that name stuck with me, but the main one that I keep telling everyone because it's true. Back in my 20s, I was on a Tuesday night beer drinking dart league, and the bar's name was RJ's Hideaway, and we were the Hideaway Honeys. And that was such a beautiful time in my life, full of many memories that I absolutely love and adore. And I called up the old owner and I said, could I borrow Hideaway Honey instead of Honeys and use that as a band name? And she gave me her blessing. And from there, it just took off. And then everything turned into everything is sweet and come here what the buzz is. And now I've got a whole little spiel that I do. And it just has all, it's all turned out. And then another reason is honeybees, they live in a community. And I think the
Mhm.
music industry is a community.
Yep.
And without your worker bees and without everyone else supporting you, you aren't the queen bee. So, like, I also use it as an appreciation to those that are around me that have gotten me where I'm at today.
Cool.
So,
I love it. I love
yeah.
that idea. Do you have any honeybee merch?
I do. I mean, I just have a couple shirts, and I've actually been looking into doing some lip balm and actually selling my own honey. So I thought that would be kind of cool to, yeah. And then I'm hoping to take a portion of those sales and put it towards a foundation or a charity.
Awesome. Do
So
you have
goal,
honey?
future goals. I do
Right.
not, but
Oh,
there are some local people that have honey farms around here that I would like to get hooked up with and see if we can work out something and support another business and support myself at the same time. So
yeah, that would be cool.
yeah,
That'd be really cool.
kind of turn it into a whole little brand, sweet brand thing.
Yeah. That's what you got to do too. You
Yeah,
got to build your brand. I hear that
right.
all
And
the time,
that's
like build your
yeah,
brand, build your
brand,
brand.
brand, brand.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
Get your
sounds like
logos,
you're
get
doing
your
it.
colors, make everything
Yep.
across all platforms, which
Right. And
that's difficult for
consistent.
me because I can't do all those platforms. Some of them confuse me.
Oh, me too.
And
For the longest time, I was like, I'm not doing TikTok. That is so dumb. I'm not doing it.
right.
Blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, well, shoot. Now I'm part of the music world and I really like have to. If I,
Yeah.
you just can't not.
That's actually the platform that I have the most followers on, but I hardly post on it anymore. I've got to become more regular. It's so hard to balance life and then the music career and your regular career, and it's hard to, as a one woman show, to get everything posted, everything, keep a log of passwords. This goes here, this goes there. My merch shop password, this password. I'm just like, whoo,
I
this is
know.
really
I
something.
I agree. It's a lot to keep track of. It's like
Yeah.
we picked the absolute worst time frame of yeah, the music industry to try and become successful in it because not
Yeah.
only do you have to sound good, look good, now you have to have all the social media stuff and now your numbers are based on, and your success is based on your numbers and your followers rather than your talent
Right.
and your connections and it's like, "Oh my gosh. Why did we add this whole other like terrible element to that?"
Right.
But
And
I
I've had issues with that with I've lost gigs because I didn't have enough followers. And I was like, well, those followers don't really count because they're not going to be at the show anyway because they're all over the world. Like
right,
it shouldn't be 100% about how many followers you have
no.
because most of them are not even from the area.
Right.
Your biggest support is not your close community, it's everywhere else.
Right.
So it's just it was funny. I think last year I've had maybe 5 to 6 emails that said we're sorry we've chosen somebody else because you don't have a big enough following yet, which is fine because someday I
Right.
will, and then I'll say you missed out on that one.
Yep. Now I'm more expensive. Thank you.
Yeah, payday.
I know that's become probably one of the hardest elements of the this is to prove yourself because that's all they look at now is like, oh well, if you don't have a following, you must not have very popular stuff, and it's like, well,
Right.
come to a local show and see the reaction I get and then decide if,
Right.
I'm good enough for whatever.
Right.
But and maybe that will turn around, maybe it won't. I don't know. I would
Oh, it will. I'm positive, especially for you. You've got this. I can't wait to see where you're headed next because you just keep putting out the great content and your songs. My gosh, I mean, I love them. I'm addicted, so
Thank you.
you're
Thank
very welcome.
you. We
Yeah.
did work really super hard this year. And it was actually, so have you attended the award show? I'm kind of skipping all over, but have
I
you?
no, you're fine. I have not. No.
Okay, so after, you'll have to tell me if this is how you feel after the award show this year, but
Okay.
I attended for the first time last year, and by the time that was over, I was so inspired and had like such a fire lit under me, and I'm like, this is it. Like, I want to be a million times ahead of where I am now by this time next year. And so it prompted me to get my rear in gear with the band, get, this album put out, like knock out more songs than I had before, like just really, really push hard, build the following. Um, and looking back, I'm like, wow, like all of that was lit because of going to that award show, really. I mean, I wanted to push and be successful and work on it, but
Hmm.
that was really the point where I'm like, this is what I want to push for.
This is really what I
This is
want.
what,
Yeah.
yeah. So you'll have to see now after you attend if that's how you feel.
Yeah, will do.
Because,
Because that's how I felt after that Fort Dodge that writers showcased. I came
mhm.
home and I was a rocket.
Yep,
I'm like, what are we doing next? Where are we going next? Let's get this show on the road because I want to be doing this every weekend.
yep, yep, exactly.
So
Yeah.
I can only imagine what the award show is gonna do. I'm big outer space, man. I'm headed to the
Hmm.
moon.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy, even someone that, does like didn't take an award home or anything, I still felt like
Right.
great. I still had such a great time and still felt like that was a huge benefit for my career, like no matter what. And
Yep.
and even
Well,
then,
and look at you now. A year later, now look at all these nominations.
right? So it proves
It
my point
proves.
that if you
Yep.
know you need that inspiration to push yourself and get ahead and be like, oh, okay, I needed to
Yep.
level up. That was the deal. Like that's what I needed. Um, but yeah, and I, even when I left last year, like I felt like didn't have um, a lot of built relationships yet. Like I worked on that throughout the year, reaching out and
Yeah.
because like there's really no CMO artists around me. There's a
In your
couple,
area.
but not really. And so I was like, man, I'm already the outcast because I'm way on the other side of like barely even making it in the Midwest or what they
Right, right.
consider the Midwest region.
Consider.
So all these other artists have all these joint gigs and relationships and connections and share contacts and everything because they all live in the cities or they all live in Iowa or they are all, all over wherever and so I'm like I have got to really work to get, that bridge, like that gap
Yeah.
bridged, yeah. So
Yep.
that was what I really pushed for this year too. And plus, I wanted like my experience with the org to be even twice as great as it was last year, because why not?
Right.
That's why I became
Yeah.
it, right? So,
Right. You put your money into it to get something back from it, and the
yeah,
connections is the main thing. I mean, yeah, the radio station airplay is great, but I think that the main thing that's super beneficial, like you said, is the connections that you're making with other artists who have been there, have done that. I mean,
yeah,
there's people that are in the Midwest CMO that are actively living in Nashville, working every night on
right,
Broadway. And
right.
it's neat to be able to say, hey, I could potentially reach out to them and just kind of get that inside, like, well, I'm deciding to go down for a few weeks. What do I need to do to get into those open mic nights? Do
Yep,
you have any advice? Where should I park? Those type of things. Because
right,
eventually it's gonna give them credit back because they're gonna be like, wow, I helped them do something, and now look at what they're gonna do and go help somebody else.
right,
So
right.
it's like the next step. It's just a neat stepping stone to get where you need to be. And I'm very thankful that I was able to discover this organization, and I just hope to continue to grow with it.
How did you discover it in the first place?
I think it was just randomly on Facebook. I think I saw somebody else in the state of Iowa that was doing a gig and they had that little logo down at the bottom of their thing. And I was like, what is that guitar and Midwest CMO thing? And went and looked it up. And I'm like, I think this is an organization that I need to be a part of because it looks like they're growing and I want to grow with them. So
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
no brainer to sign up for that.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I had just went to my local radio station asking like how can I get my stuff, on the airplay or, a rotation of any sort.
Yeah,
And they were kind of like, well, we don't really do that because our station is like top 40 only, blah blah blah. But we do know about this thing called the Midwest CMOs and so I was like, oh, okay, so that's how because I had no clue. I would have never known about that. But I
right.
mean, how would I, we being so far away, like Okoboji is 8.5 hours for me.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna
it's
say
a
it's a
long way.
long trip.
So, and not that it's completely based there, but just for example, like there,
Yeah,
and the cities are just as far. That's a 9 hour
right.
trip. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, there's no way I would learn about any of this stuff.
Yeah, the thank goodness, I curse the internet and yet at the same time I praise it because there's so many opportunities that we're exposed to nowadays.
Right.
But at the same time, man, I could go without social media.
It's,
I
yeah.
am so over social media and having to be consistent and like
Mhm.
pre-posting and schedule posting and making sure I'm on top of everything and thanking who I need to thank. Like I'd rather just make that phone call and be like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, yeah, I know. I know. I have said multiple times, as soon as I can afford one, I'm getting a social media manager. Like,
Yes,
before anything
yes.
else, I'm getting someone to be in charge of all this because
Yep.
I am the very, very basic content creator at the
Yeah.
most. And um, even like the video I just posted from our gig on Saturday, I didn't even make that. That was the venue. I was like, I'm gonna steal this and use it.
Take that
Yeah, so
credit.
yeah, I'm like I don't understand. I've never dedicated the time to learn, how to all the ins and outs of Instagram and how to make all these fancy things,
Right.
reels and the stories and the la 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 la. It's so much.
You almost have to like go to find courses online. And I know that
Yeah.
YouTube has been huge for me because I'm like, how do I make an EPK? How do I send an email to prospects? What do I cold call? Like I've had
Yep.
to literally look things up just for myself. And so I'm fortunate now that I'm in the Midwest CMO and I can call on some of these friends. I know that I've used Bubba and I'm like, hey Bubba, do you think this EPK looks good? And he looked over my email, gave me some information, some criticism, the constructive criticism, and was like, hey, you should try this,
Mhm.
fixed it up and sent it back out and things have been looking good. So I mean it's really
Good.
neat to be able to call on your my new friends and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
you've done this. Can you help me?" And then I'll help you back in some way. And it's just been great. And I think that Bubba's doing a great thing for the org and I think I kind of met you essentially through
Mhm.
him
Yeah.
through doing the Zoom calls.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's a neat thing to see all these connections finally coming together and I'm excited to see where everyone's future is gonna head.
I
So
know. It is. It's really cool. Yeah. So on that note, you can always ask me anything too. I don't know if I'll always be
yes.
very helpful, but I can at
Well, you
least
can ask me. I won't
try.
know anything, but you can ask and I'll try to find the answer.
I'll be like, hey, I'm coming your way. Need some venue
Perfect.
ideas
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you definitely let me know because yeah.
because
It may
I
not,
know
I don't know
nothing
all
because
the
I
fun
haven't.
venues and everything. I'm still looking for them myself, but man, if I throw your name out there and they're like, "Oh, I know that chick." I'm like, "Yeah, you need to get her in Iowa. Let's go."
What we need to do is get a joint show over there
Yes,
so we
I'll
can
open for
have
you for sure. Like, let's get you a big old
following.
ticketed show out here in Iowa and let me open for you, please.
Yes, absolutely you could. Yes, I actually have I've only done like a couple ticketed shows in all of my music career in the last 3 years. Because I don't know, like, I don't know what it's like over in your area, but there's really, unless it's a big name coming in where you're
Mhm.
an opener on something, ticketed shows are not really a thing. Like,
Really?
yeah, because there's not like upscale music venues here. It's all just the bars hire you for, like I said, like after the bull riding event or whatever, and
Hmm.
if people happen, you happen to be there and they happen to walk in, like that's just the way it is.
Uh-huh.
There's never hardly ever, a cover charge or a door anything. So that's probably a little different than over
Yeah, in
there,
my
but
experience here, there are the larger bar venues are usually ticketed.
mhm.
And then but then your local bars, there's usually no cover or anything. And then that one ticketed show that I happened to do was at the Watch Here Opera House. And so that was a really neat
Cool.
experience. And actually, I was going to ask you, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the bar gigs or more of like your intimate, either, well, like for example, like farmers markets or vendor shows? I don't know if you sing or perform at any of those type of things, or do you just strictly
Um,
do bar stuff out there?
we pretty much stick with the bar scene, and then there's tons of rodeo stuff that goes on here. So, rodeo and
Lucky.
festival stuff. And
Yeah.
that's where I enjoy the most is the rodeo world and the fairs, the festival kind of things.
Oh, I'm jealous. Oh,
So,
that's up my alley.
yeah, yeah,
I don't
we
know
have.
if you've noticed all these
I did
horse
see,
photos back here.
I
I
did
mean,
see
that's
that one.
sleep, breathe horses. So that's something that I would love to get into, is like doing the national anthem and then being the after rodeo party. Like that
Yeah.
would be
Yep, so we've
huge.
definitely done a handful of the after rodeo parties and those are probably my favorite things besides, if you got to be an opening act for somebody big, but
Right.
I've only gotten to do that a couple times too, but so yeah, definitely the rodeo stuff versus the bar thing. Like there's some cool bars for sure, but
Mhm.
at those people are it's just kind of a you happen to be there when they want to go to the bar.
Right.
They're
And
not
you're more
like,
the
oh man,
background
there's
music.
yeah, there's like an after party, after the rodeo, like everybody sticks around and dances and that's the whole reason they stay. That's
Yeah.
a totally different thing. So, that's what we prefer. But
Yeah. I think I would love to be able to do some more of the ticketed shows, or at least shows where it feels like people are there for me.
right, right. Oh
Because
yeah,
it gets really hard when you have to be the, like we were talking earlier, when an artist is very vulnerable. It's very hard to be that background music. I know a little bit of your ego has to come through because you're wanting people to appreciate what you're doing because you're
right.
putting the time and effort and energy into it. It's long days, long nights. You're usually doing it by yourself on the solo stuff.
Yep.
And it's like, man, I'm doing all this work, getting crappy pay, and you can't even acknowledge that I am in the corner of this room. And yet you're
Yep.
dancing to every or singing to every single thing that I'm doing. And then it's just
Right.
very frustrating to, at the end of the night, you're looking at your tip jar and you're like, well, they kind of responded out there. And then the tip jar proves they didn't respond. And then you're like going home feeling like, why did I just put myself out there for all this? Where when you go to a ticketed show, that people are there to actually see you.
Right.
And I know, like at our ticketed show, I opened my mouth in the first 3 seconds and they started clapping. And I got so overwhelmed, I almost had to stop the very first song because I was like, what is this? Why are you clapping? I just sang three notes. What, what was happening? Oh, shoot, my screen froze.
Oh
Was that on my
no.
end?
Are you still there?
I'm here. You're frozen.
Oh no. That's no
Yeah.
good. You can still hear
Yep.
me though,
I
obviously.
can still. Yeah, oh, there you go. There you're back. Ow. And then I just ripped my
Okay.
headphones out. That's cool.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's funny how different venues give you the different feel and give you the
Yeah.
different vibe.
Yeah, and we've definitely played some shows where we were like, okay, that's not our crowd. Like,
Right,
this
right,
is we probably, they treated us fine, but we probably won't play there again because that's not, the response or the avenue that we want to pursue, like
right.
so
And
yeah,
I
we
know
had a few of those.
I've hung in there on, like, I've gone back to some because I needed the money for the most part,
Yeah,
to keep
exactly.
going. But then it's like I leave there and I'm like, but why did I put myself emotionally through that? Because
Right.
emotionally then drains me physically, and then when I'm physically tired, then the next show it's like, do I really want to give my all? But you have to, because
Right.
like we also said,
Yep.
there's one person out there watching you,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got to make that impression on them.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it is a very um yeah, demanding job all the way
yeah,
around. Like it really
yeah.
is. people are like,
Truly.
"Oh, it just, you're off there just having the ball, and having the time of your life." And you're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
but let's
You don't know
address
what
these
went into
15
that.
things I'm supposed to do to keep this going before I ever even get to the part where I just want
Hmm.
to sing and have fun."
Right.
Like,
Right. And
yeah,
I
there's
think
a
I'm
lot.
just finally getting to that point where at the gigs I can settle into it because I've got a new mindset in the last couple of weeks. I just have a completely new mindset. I'm out there to do my job, but
Mhm.
at the same time give everything I've got because I know at the end of the night that I've given everything that I've given. And if they don't receive it well, that's their problem because I'm
Exactly.
I'm having fun. So
Exactly.
you go
Yep.
home with your beer and I'm gonna go home and put my head on my pillow at night and know I just did a heck of a job. So
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And most of those folks are too drunk
right.
and yeah, their
Those drunk
opinions are
toddlers,
like,
man, I
yeah,
tell you,
they can go on and on, can't they?
they can go on and on. I love when they steal your microphone, like they whip your mic stand right out of your hand. Like those are the best ones. You're like, get out of my space. You're not getting paid to do this.
Exactly. Nor should you because you're
You're right,
obnoxious.
right. Go to karaoke, and I bet you'll get kicked out of there too.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, well, it's been awesome chatting with you.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you reaching out and I've been super nervous about this, but excited at the same time because I love making new connections. So
Good,
definitely got a
good.
solid one. Now I have another South Dakota connection. Woo!
Yes, yes. Well, no need to be nervous, but
Yeah,
I'm glad that, yeah, I'm happy to have another connection and
absolutely.
what day are you getting to the awards show? Are you going just
So I
Saturday?
think I'm gonna try to get there Thursday so that I'm up early in the morning on Friday to go to those meetings.
Yeah, me too.
Now I'm not positive though if I'm gonna actually be there on Saturday. I might have a gig, but I for sure
You
I
can't
know.
go and then
I
miss the actual
I
award
know,
show.
right? I know, but I'm hoping to get to that the Friday night. Don't they have a little shindig going
The
on Friday
jam,
night? Oh,
yeah.
the jam. So I figured that I could probably make up my connections there if I stayed for that. So we'll see. I'm fingers crossed that I'll be at the actual show. But if not, I'm definitely going to be there for Thursday and Friday.
Okay, good.
So
Yes, same here. We'll be rolling in on Thursday
on
evening.
Thursday, okay.
So, yeah.
Well, definitely feel free to reach out and yeah, this is super exciting. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course.
And
Have
feel
a
free to I think that I halfway did okay. You can probably go through and edit whatever you want and pull clips from it. I don't think it was too bad. I didn't swear, so that's a good thing. My cat didn't completely jump into my lap. She's now on the chair over here though with cross-eyes going, I'm done with this. I'm
That's
sorry.
hilarious. You did just fine.
Oh,
Just
thank you.
fine. Oh
So
man.